Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, the off-road show that brings you all the results, news, and online shenanigans that make being online a good time. We'd like to say thank you to Fly Racing for their support of Seat Time. Please go check them out at flyracing.com. Is that go, Steven? Is that the go sign? Well, Steven's not giving me the cues. The show is now live. Welcome to Seat Time, everybody. This is episode 221. I'm your host, Brian Pierce, for this fine Tuesday evening. If you can't tell, sun's out, guns out. It is in the high 90s here in Texas. It's absolutely horrible, so I wanted to make sure I put my tank top on for you guys. You can see that I've been working out, and it doesn't look like it at all. And Steward Baylor still has everything bigger than me, which is more manly, and that's what we're going to talk about later on the show. Of course, Seat Time is brought to you by the fine folks at Fly Racing. You can learn more about Fly Racing at flyracing.com. Kenda Tire, you can find out more about them at kendatire.com. And SRT Offroad, which would be srtoffroad.com. Thank you guys for making it so easy on me. So a couple things, obviously some house cleaning kind of stuff. Remember, this is archived on the site, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, all that kinds of stuff. And I just want to say thank you to Jaeger Photos for leaving us a review about the show on iTunes. Appreciate that. Anybody else wants to do that and doesn't think we suck or do or whatever, get there and type some shit. Chat room, remember, go to tlk.io/teatime, or you can jump in the YouTube chat room, whichever you want to, if you want to talk about length versus girth for Steward and I tonight. I don't know if it could get weird, but we just want to go that way. And then, of course, the Team USA shirts, they are printing this week, so they should all be shipping out Sunday night. So they should be on the way on Monday for any of you guys that are wondering where those are. Sorry, an email has not come out yet. So, Mr. Steward Baylor, what the heck have you been doing, and why did you make us late?
Well, I've been in Merwin, Missouri all day.
Explain. Wait, what was that word? Merlin?
Merwin.
Oh,
Merwin.
So well, not like the magician.
What's that?
Not the magician, Merlin.
Yeah. Well, the reason you've never heard of it is because when you pull into town, the population sign says 63.
Oh. That's impressive.
It's, yeah, I think they're all brothers and sisters, and there's a badass motocross there. So I've been spending my week there after the National Enduro. I came out. The guy that owns the place, Bill Graham, and the guy that runs the place, Luke. We've been hanging out, having a good time, doing some riding, and it's been sweet.
Dig it, man. So is that something you try to do after events when you're driving your stuff across the country? You try to go find a place to go ride, so you're not just driving straight back, to another location, another home or races or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. It's I obviously live on the road. I think last year I spent 260 days on the road. So, it's always good to find good places, and I spent enough time on the road to find what I think to be most of the best places. And being out in Missouri, I have a lot of friends out here, and I like to stop by and ride. And the dirt out here is not like anything you see anywhere else. I'm on the Kansas line, and the dirt is this black loam that is so deep. Ruts that'll swallow little kids. So it's unreal. I mean, there's nothing like it, and I have a really good time riding out here. A lot of the OMAs are in this area, so I usually like spending a lot of time out here.
Yeah, it makes sense. And then is this where you found the little straight rhythm track that we saw on Instagram? Because it looked damn sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's 500 yards. They're thinking about making it a full 1,000 to make it just like the actual Red Bull straight rhythms. But it's at that place in Merwin. It's called the Midwest Extreme Park, and it's under new owners, and they're just trying to pump it up and make it sweet, and they're doing really good at it. They've got trails. They've got the moto track. The moto track's killer. The straight rhythm. They've got a slide that's like 35 feet tall going into the pond. It's if you've seen any of the moto playground videos from the Camp Boom Diggity,
right?
It was at the place. So that's why it's so sweet. It's got the Boom Diggity set up still from I guess about a month ago. So, it's got all the fun stuff, the pit bike tracks, the kids tracks, the moto tracks, the turn tracks. It's a blast. I mean, I love coming out here, and during the winter I come out and deer hunt and ride all winter long. So it's a good time, and anytime I get the chance to come out, and this week obviously racing in Missouri was one of those, I take advantage of it.
Absolutely. Well, that's good, man. And I like kind of getting back into the roots of it, like having fun, riding with people that are fun to ride with, opposed to always feel like you have to train and stuff like that. What did you think of that straight rhythm track for what the idea behind it with no turns and things of that nature? I mean, if we're watching on Instagram, you look like you were riding it really well, but until you're next to somebody who maybe is a motocross racer, could we tell, the speed difference and things of that nature?
Well, I felt like I was going really fast on it, but Austin Faulkner's like twice as fast on it. He lives right down the road from here, so it's a really cool concept, but it's tough to get the hang of everything on wood settings. I've got my National Enduro suspension on right now, and
yeah, that probably doesn't lead well to going super fast on a jumpy motocross straight rhythm.
Yeah, it doesn't do well at all. So the first triple I went for yesterday, it was right off the bat. My suspension bottomed off in the face, and I was like, all right, yep, no more. We're going double the whole way down. So that was a little bit scary. I made it over the triple, and I didn't kill myself, but when your suspension bottoms out on the face of a jump, it's time to back her on down. So I'm gonna come back in the off season when I don't have to worry about being safe.
Yep.
And because, well, we all know of my obvious long history of injuries. So,
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds like you were making wise, like almost educated decisions, Baylor. Is this freaking you out a little?
Well, no, it wasn't me at all. My girlfriend's out here, and you know how women are. They basically take away your man card. So, I
believe that.
Yeah,
Miss Jade
exactly.
Wilson.
Everybody knows. So, so she's taking away my man card. Basically, every time I get on the bike, she's like, if you go and hurt yourself, we can't afford a house payment, and it's not going to work out. So I've got that on the back of my mind. And then Bill, the owner out here, he was sitting there, and he was like, I need you to help me pump this place up, and I need a good name of somebody who's getting good results. And if you're laid up in a hospital bed, we can't do that. So why don't you wait until they do
It's not as effective if you're the guy that we're showing on Instagram getting air flighted out of the facility.
Exactly.
It's more effective when you have bitchin' like riding footage on the straight rhythm.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're going for now. But as soon as the season's over, I'm coming back out here. I'm actually coming back the week between Oklahoma, the last National Enduro, and I think it's Ironman GNCC, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, between two races. So I'll be coming back through, and I'll get to hit it then, get a little more practice, and then I'll get to get real ballsy after the last GNCC. I'm coming back out. So I'm basically planning my year around hitting the straight rhythm. I never thought it would be this fun. Like, I've never had that much fun on any track, honestly. Like, I felt like a little kid on a 50. Like, I know you see them out at a track all the time, the kids on the 50s that hit the same turn or the same bump over and over and over again.
Yep.
That's how straight rhythm. I rode it basically all day long and just played and, just screwed around doing different things, came back to it. And I think it's a blast. Obviously, I don't think it really turns over into any practice or any benefits at all for riding woods, but I still have fun doing it.
Okay, so were you on your two-stroke? I didn't get the chance to hear the audio.
No, I was on the 350. The two-stroke stayed at the house this trip.
Okay, so if you were to emulate what the motorcycle sounded like while you were riding the straight rhythm, like how would that come across to you?
Oh,
and your compadres there in the cab are more than willing to take this one for you if they feel that they may have it in them.
Luke, I know you can make some noises. Let's hear it, Luke.
I don't really know.
Let's hear it, Luke. This is what it says. It says It says, "Wa-da-da-da, get your fat ass off me. Wa-da-da-da-da, come on, you weigh too much. All right,
it was like the clunk, and then its suspension was real bad. So it was a rough ride through there.
Perfect. I like it. Well, that's a good start. I still think Max Gersten has you, unfortunately, when it comes to bike noises, but I'm glad that we tried. It's a good time.
Max Gersten has me in a lot of ways. That guy is just a nut job. I love it. He's great.
Yeah, I would completely agree. So tell us a little bit. Congrats, by the way, on your win this past weekend, getting yourself up to second in the championship points there for the National Enduro. Watching Rob Mitchell's highlight video made it look like the terrain was epic. You guys had awesome trails to ride on. So then for the innocent bystander out here that unfortunately had to watch it from Texas, tell me a little bit about some of those things that I couldn't notice, from the pictures and from the video about the event.
It wasn't a typical Missouri National Enduro. We've raced there obviously in the past. The first 4 sections they seem to be a lot faster than usual. I know a lot of it was on trail that we've ridden before, but for some reason it just felt a little more open. Obviously we've got the rocks to deal with out in Missouri. They're not normal rocks. They're I want to kill you rocks, and they're loose and they look like they're embedded, but as soon as you hit them, you realize they're not, and they roll over on your tires and send you flying. So, you had to be really precise with your tire placement, and it was easy to get ahead of yourself there. Luckily I just felt smooth all day, never really made too many mistakes. And that was the key to it. It was just trying to limit your errors. And, there was a lot of places I want to say that you could get ahead of yourself, just wanting to race too hard into a corner or race too fast down a straightaway. And, with those rocks, you couldn't get off the track. You didn't really want to. Anytime you did, it seemed there would be a rock behind every bush. And the track the dirt was better than I've ever seen at Missouri. Obviously, Missouri is just usually, at least that side of the state, is usually just rocks, and in this time of year, it's just dry powder. That race was really good. The dirt was good all day. It poured for 2 days straight before we got there, so everybody was kind of anticipating a mud race, but it really wasn't that bad by the time we got to things. The trail was really broken in. It wasn't too deep, but I managed to have a good time doing it. There was some sketchy stuff, but it was fun all day long.
And that's the thing. It's like outside looking in, having watched the recap video and seeing all the pictures now, like it was an event that I was like, holy crap. Like that's one of those ones, if you were going to go and then like went home because of all the rain, you'd be slapping yourself, because by the time, like you said, like it actually turned out amazing. The dirt looked super brownie perfect. And a lot of the reports read how much faster the trail seemed to be going. So that's cool. But I read that you were on a 450.
No, I'm on a 350.
Okay.
There's been a mix-up kind of all year long about the 450, 350 thing. I've gone back and forth between the bikes, and now I found myself on the 350. So I've basically ridden a little bit of everything all year long. Obviously the last thing was the last biggest change was the 2-stroke, and kind of brought that out for a few races, but I'm back on the 350 for now. It's just I found it too tough to actually make changes that big during the season. I think it could have been a little better if I would have been able to get on it a little sooner and get some testing on it. But we weren't able to find the time to really fine tune that bike, and I was able to. I've had all season on the 350, so I know what it does. I can anticipate every move, and that's the biggest thing. I know exactly what my bike's going to do when I get on that 350 and line up. And on the 2-stroke, I'm running my 350 suspension, and it's obviously 2 to 3 spring rates too stiff, and it doesn't seem to work like I need it to. So, I kind of dug myself a little bit of a hole. I wish I wouldn't have changed to the 2-stroke, but at the same time, it's when I'm doing all the bike work myself, it's a whole lot easier to keep that 2-stroke running. And luckily my dad stepped in, he's helped out, and that's why we made the switch back to the 350. He's been able to help me out the last few races and put a lot more time into it so I can still train during the week, make it to the races, and have a reliable bike when I show up.
Right. No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, your dad's a bitchin' dude. I think anytime your dad comes up, I just relive 2013 at Big Sky, like every night over and over again with your father. And you just can't.
Are you talking about bar hopping?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like
I'm just making sure we're on the same page.
Yeah. Yeah, like we had a couple ladies that tried to take us home, but your dad talked us out of that. It was like, Brian, that's a bad idea. I was like, I'm going to listen to you, Mr. Baylor. You seem like an upstanding individual. Worked out for all of us, so it was a good time. So we got a lot of stuff coming up, other stuff that's happened in the past. You got 4th at Unadilla. You did really good there. You got 6th at TKO. You got 4 laps in. Cody Webb did 8. So there's like, what one of those past experiences would you like to bring up first?
Well, I'll start with TKO. I feel like that's the one that everybody likes to hear about. So TKO, this is the first year I've ever actually made it to the main. The last year I tried it, I shattered my hand in 7 or 8 places and wasn't even able to make it out of the first moto. So, I started off the day good. I just kind of cruised. I think I finished 10th, which set me on row 5 for the second moto, and went out there and got in the waterfall section, and I was doing pretty well. They said I was top 5 overall with adjusted time, and I got in there, and you have a lot of slower guys in front of you, and the trail's a lot different when you're on row 5. It's kind of screwed up how the starting order goes, but it was really tough to pick your lines through there, and
right.
There's only be one line, so everybody was stuck in that one line. But it was the most gnarly race I think I've ever done, the most physically demanding. I've never felt that rough after a race. I felt more worn out after that day than I did after an ISDE. So, it's definitely intense. Now, that's me for a mortal human being. Like I'm not talking about Cody Webb. I feel like he got done, grabbed a 24 pack, got hammered, drunk, and then rode the next day. Like, I feel like that's what Cody did. That's the way I imagine it, just because he's that much of a hard ass. Like, that guy is unreal. He trail rode up the waterfall where, I don't know if you saw videos, but I had the bike over my shoulder, like pressing it, doing a full shoulder press to get it up the waterfall. It was like wheel tapping up it. So, for all the humans out there, it was the most gnarly race ever. There was one hill section where it took myself, Corey Buttrick, Mike Brown. There was a couple other people there. I can't remember everybody, but I think Ben Kelly. There's a pile of us, and it took all of us working as a team to get our bikes up the hill.
Oh my
They
gosh.
said they rode right up it. So.
Was that hill climb on a hill climb that would have had spectators, or was that one that was a little bit further out in the middle of nowhere?
No, I was kind of in the middle of nowhere. There was only 4 or 5 people there.
Okay.
It was called the Ledges, I believe.
It was probably Eric Pennard, Sean Finley, and 2 trials people that probably knew exactly where it was, and they were like, "Ha ha, suckers."
Yeah, people. Jeff Aaron was there. Jeff Aaron was sitting
nice.
there, and everybody was sitting there, mad. Mike took his helmet off and he looked at Jeff. He was like, "How many people have come up this so far?" And he said 6 or 7. And he said, "Holy shit!" And they didn't have help. And he's like, "Nah, they made it up. I mean, they struggled a little bit, but they made it." And Mike was like, "Huh. Well, then things have changed since they came through here." And obviously it was raining at that point.
Right.
The rain's coming down. It was miserable. It was brutal to say the least. And then during the final moto, I rode pretty decent. I stopped a few times. I hung out with Corey Buttrick, talked to Corey Gerfunder, talked to some people on the side of the track.
Hey guys, how's it going? just smiling and waving.
Yeah, saw Cody Webb sitting on the side of the track, and I was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" He's like, "I just don't want to do another lap, so we're wait until this 30 minutes is up and then I'm going to cross the finish line. So I was like, cool, because it's 30 minutes plus a lap. So,
Right.
I sat there and talked to him, and then I pulled in and they were like, you got 6. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I spent talking to people, revving my bike, doing burnouts on the bridge, yelling at the crowd. It was, I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that I ended up 6. If I would have actually kept riding, even at a slow pace, I would have been top 3, top 4. And I really couldn't believe it. I thought I was like outside the top 10, so that's why I was talking to everybody.
Yeah. Did you happen to see the photo epic that we put out after the Tennessee knockout?
No.
Okay, go look at the Seat Time page, go to the photo epic section, and there are 2 pictures of you side by side. They're 2 completely different sections of the final, but you're making the exact same horribly disgusting looking face. Like you were just just so much focus and so much hate going on. It is absolutely hilarious, man.
I'm pulling it up right now. Hold on. Seat Time.
Oh yeah, we got him here on the. Is that showing on the show right now, Steven? Awesome. Yeah. So we got. It's like one of them's you in the creek on the right, and then the other one's you in the creek where all the people are at. And so like, but you have this like awesome face. It's pretty epic.
All right. Where is it?
Did you find the photo epics?
Is that you?
That's probably what, halfway down, if you're on your phone.
Is it on Instagram?
On Instagram?
Oh no! It's like on not on. I don't think it's on seattime.co. It's the website, not on Instagram.
Okay. All right. Hold
idiot.
on. She's finding it.
Yeah.
We'll get it. I can hear
Yeah.
it.
So tell her, Jade, go to seattime.co, and in the nav there's photo epics, and then you'll see the one from 2016 Tennessee knockout in there, and then about halfway down you'll find the ones of Stu. Yeah, dude, it was pretty epic. But I think like what's jacked up is everybody was making those faces, So like there's a lot of pictures that I got of different people, and it's just you could tell that main was smoking everybody. Like you guys were totally freaking waxed, and so yeah, to do 4 laps and come in 6th is impressive. Because I didn't get through the full day on Saturday, so.
All right, I got our.
You got 'em?
I got pictures now. Yeah, I look pissed off.
I know you look angry, but you see what I mean? Like it's the exact same facial expression in both of those pictures, but they just happen to be different angles and different placements on the trail and stuff.
I bet Cody Webb smiles when he rides through that stuff. Like I bet he's like grinning in ear to ear, like just out for a joy ride, thinking about. He's probably singing. I bet he's singing in his head. Like I wonder what he's singing. Like, could you imagine the songs that he sings? What do you think he lives?
Oh God, I hope it's not something like Pansy like though, because that would suck if he was like listening to like Imagine Dragons in his head.
I bet he thinks about Taylor Swift.
Oh God.
While he's riding, and he's like singing love songs while he's going through the rock gardens.
He's like going through different rom-com movies in his head, like all about love and stuff. Like, oh yeah, back when that. Oh, I love it when they get back together. It's so cute.
Yeah,
I don't know,
for sure.
whatever.
That's I think that's exactly what he does while he goes through the rocks. Like that has to sum it up. That's the only thing I can think of.
I would agree. So, what are you going to have in your head in Spain? Are you going to take a note from Cody Webb and bring some of that Taylor Swift with you to the ISDE?
My head in Spain. Well, all I want is a gold medal, and I plan on what's going through my mind in Spain is the after party, the ISDE after party, because we're coming back with 2 gold medals this year, 3 gold medals this year. All the trophy teams, junior trophy, world trophy, and women's trophy. That's the plan. I think the after party is what I'm looking forward to. So I don't care about anything else, just the after party, because I know USA is going to go over there and show them what we've been trying to show them for a long time.
I like it, man. And I've brought it up multiple times on this show. 2012 Germany after party blew my freaking mind. Like So Matty Phillips, right, just won the overall Enduro GP for 2016. That jerk got me so wasted off of Red Bull vodkas, and then half the other Australians were buying me beers, and then I was like, oh, dude, it was so. I can only imagine if you guys win and you get to party with the United States and Steward Baylor, it would be probably pretty damn epic.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, that's all I'm worried about is how sick the after party's going to be, because we're all going to have our gold medals around the neck.
No shirts, just gold medals.
Just gold medals. No clothes, just gold medals.
Sorry guys, I have to show you guys all of my winning parts. I like it. Well, okay, so you've got Mountaineer Run coming up this weekend. That's what we get to look forward to. Any thoughts going into that? You got 4th at Unadilla. You're still doing okay in the points and things of that nature, but trying to get back on the podium, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. I after my injuries from a few years ago, it's taken a long time to really get back in the swing of things with the GNCCs, and I got a podium earlier this year, but it wasn't a podium that I'm proud of. I ended up 4th overall. Bollinger beat me in the overall. Duvall ended up running out of gas. There was a couple other people that had issues throughout the day. So it's not like, obviously, I guess to finish first, you must first finish. That's an old saying, but at the same time, it's not one that I'm proud of. So, last race was probably the first GNCC where I came off the track, and I was actually proud of my performance. I felt really good all day until the last little bit. I had some issues. My front brakes went out, which obviously is one of the most crucial things on a bike. That's all we use. So it's hard to keep your front end into a corner. It's hard to get stopped for the corner. I keep a finger on the front brake all the time. So with the front brakes going the last couple laps, that made things a little tougher. But I was running good lap times. I felt like I still had more fuel in the tank at the end of the race, and that's the first time in a long time that's actually happened. And I've changed some things, and it just seems to be working. So looking forward to the Mountaineer Run. I've only finished that race once. I've been injured every year that we've gone there, so except one. So that's a track where anything can happen. It's not as technical as snowshoe, but it still is a really technical race. And the biggest thing is just making sure you don't get ahead of yourself, don't make any mistakes too early in the race, and don't hurt yourself in the rocks. It's really high speed, and GNCC's had a lot of high speed stuff, and it's not really what I enjoy when I go racing. So the biggest thing is just trying to stay safe, smooth, and under control. So with the rocks and the high speed, I don't know what I'm looking for, but I definitely want to get back on the podium. That's obviously the goal every weekend, and if it would be great with me if I could just watch Caleb ride for a lap. That's I think right now, honestly, I think everybody wants to do that, but I don't think anybody can.
Right. It seems like he can just get out when he gets out front. It's just like he's gone. So everybody's trying to at least beat him to the first 3 turns, so that way he's not immediately just taking off on everybody. It's kind of insane to watch that happen. I can only imagine it's even more insane to watch it just from a couple 100 yards behind him. Yeah.
It's when you watch Caleb ride, it almost seems like it's effortless. Everything's so flawless. He's really in control, and that's one of the things that I want to see. I want to witness it. I want to see what's going on. And I think that's one of the reasons that when he makes that pass for the lead, he doesn't screw around with another rider. He goes. He takes off. He gets a gap. He doesn't want anybody to see what he's doing differently. And I've been in that position before. Back before I got injured, I was doing the same thing. I didn't want to see people. I didn't want people seeing what I was doing different than what they were doing. And when I saw cameras, I rode smooth and I rode in control, and I stood up. And when the cameras weren't there, I rode differently. I rode like I knew how to win. And everything's a secret at the end of the day. You don't want everybody knowing every secret you've got. And
right.
I think that's the point that Caleb is. he took off at Unadilla and had 45 seconds after the first lap, and he doesn't want anybody to see what he's doing. He doesn't want anybody in their head. In his head, he doesn't care. He just wants to be the man to beat, and he's obviously doing that really well right now.
Yeah, it's pretty intense to watch that guy do what he's been doing. Well, dude, I really appreciate the time. I know that you guys have been traveling. You're going to be heading your way down to Morgantown, West Virginia to make it to the Mountaineer for GNCC. Well, good luck on the traveling. Good luck on the racing. If we don't get a chance to talk before you do head over to the ISDE, good luck there. Have fun. I will, with the ISDE and all that stuff, will I see you? You'll be at the last round of the National Enduro. Is that correct?
Yeah, we'll come back from ISDE, and then I'll pack up my stuff and hit the road straight over to Oklahoma. So,
okay, awesome.
No breaks. We were just trying to calculate my weekends for the season. I've had 1 week off since January, and that week I did riding school. So, in turn, I've had no weeks off since January, and I'm just ready to go deer hunting and not have service, not have phone service, not see a dirt bike for like a month.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure that while those random times that you're out there hunting and you're getting pinged with stuff, that it's pictures of my genitalia. So that way you're just like, this is the perfect reason to not have service still, because Woody's genitalia will pop up from the internet, and it's going to be like, I mean, they look good, but I just don't want to see him anymore. It's just too much. I can't handle it.
All right, that works.
You're like, just so that we could take pictures of them and like Photoshop them onto pictures of the dead deer that you get. So it's like, what is going on? I don't get it. It's awkward. Awesome. We appreciate it, dude. Thank you very much for taking the time. You have fun out there. Drive safe, and we will definitely chat with you soon.
All right, thanks, man. We'll see you.
Peace. Awesome. So very cool. As we were talking about this, Jesse Peters is in the chat room talking about an interview that a few weeks back that Zach Osborne did on MotoAddicts.com. It's very, very bottom where they're talking about the ISDE. Let's go ahead and get Brady pulled up, but I'm gonna check this out really quick and see if we could talk about at the bottom with the ISDE and see. Yeah, I know you're not going to the ISDE, but Teams USA chances are, I don't know. I think their chances are good. It's just a tough race to win. Half the reason we get beat is because they're better at cheating than we are. Not that they all cheat, but there's some backdoor stuff that is going on out in the middle of the woods where they're getting head gaskets off of other people, and a lot of the times the French guys have chase bikes that are identical to their race bikes. Hey, transfer while the other one's getting serviced or whatever. It's a tough race to win just because there's not a lot of regulation and there's a lot of factors that play into it. Now that's interesting. Holy crap, Brady, what is up, my friend? But I am reading some interesting information. We're going to have to reach out to Moto X Addicts and Zach Osborne and talk about this a little bit more. But for those of you guys who are interested to read more about what Jesse brought to our attention from the chat room, again, it's on Moto X Addicts. I'm going to go ahead and save this so that I can share it with Seat Time a little bit later, all of you guys and fans and stuff. I think that's a really interesting comment that he made. I haven't heard about any stuff like that. To say that it hasn't happened, who am I? I am obviously not competing out there. I'm not doing that kind of stuff. But, Jesse, thank you for bringing it to my attention. I'd love to dig into that some more and figure that kind of stuff out. But, Mr. Brady Davis, how in the heck is your evening going, kind sir?
What up, dude?
Yeah. Where's Admiral?
My evening is great. My evening is going really great.
What's the
yours?
What's the temperature out there in the Pacific Northwest?
It's about 58, 60-ish. It's kind of cool today.
Do you see what I'm wearing?
Yeah, dude, I got it on too.
Nice,
Damn.
bro. But I got the sleeveless version. You know why? Because it was 97 degrees in Texas today.
That is a joke.
Is that not ridiculous? It is late September. What is happening in my life right now?
That's a total joke.
It's so unfortunate, man. But, yeah, I mean, you kind of take life as it comes and just go with it. But when you realize that you have to get in your van, you turn the AC on blast, you point all the vents at your chest and up your pant legs just so it feels semi-comfortable, you're like, this is a bad day. Like, this is not how I wanted this day to go.
This is a bad day.
You just try to figure it out. So one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you is obviously you're just fun to chat with regardless, but you just did like an epic dirt bike battle bachelor party in the Pacific Northwest
did.
woods. So for all the dudes that could potentially want to put an event like this together for one of their moto bros, like how do we make that happen? Like what are
I just messed this up.
Did you just drop us?
Speaker's messed up on my phone, so I got to put my headphones in.
Oh my God, Brady Davis.
I can hear you better.
So how do we like learn how to put together such an epic like moto bro bachelor party weekend? What are some of the key factors to make this amazing?
Key factors is you got to have people you can trust. To be honest,
That's probably a number one that I am so glad that you brought up.
You can trust.
Yeah, I don't think many people would remember that.
Yeah, I got lucky because we just got a really good group of friends up here that've been riding forever, and not all of them rode dirt bikes, but a lot of them. There you go, proud of you. Not all of them rode dirt bikes, but we all share the same, like hobbies, going outside, doing whatever. So I kind of just got the list of like people that needed to go, people that wanted to be a part of it, and I just kind of gave them chores. Like I was kind of just super bossy. I grabbed how many did I have? 18 people.
Holy balls.
Only one couldn't make it. So we had a total of, we had 18 total. But anyway, one guy couldn't make it. So I just grabbed like 5 people in a group text. I'm like, hey, can you get a keg? And can you provide breakfast for everybody in the morning on Saturday? And they're like, yeah, we got this. I'm like, awesome. I'm gonna text you on Tuesday, the day before we leave, and I want a yes or no answer if you can bring it to my house the next day. And I pretty much did that with everybody, and it worked out really good. We had way too much food and way too much beer and way too much booze, and we had way too much fun.
I love it, man. That's the way that
it was awesome.
Yeah, regardless of having dirt bikes or not, that is the way that bachelor parties are supposed to go. Like when you wake up the next day, you need to immediately grab and just get a beer and start drinking it because you're like, I have too much. I have to drink more.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I kind of planned a dirt bike ride for Saturday, and then had like a little rendezvous point like midday. So the other guys that aren't riding drive their trucks up there, and they had little mini portable barbecues, and we had bots and hot dog and hamburgers or whatnot, and chips, beer, Bloody Marys, all sorts of things just to make it super awesome, just stacked, dude. And I had this awesome view of like Lake Chelan, that I had planned out at this certain rendezvous point, but apparently it was kind of rainy, and we started going up and up and up, and it was just like the wind was just so heavy going up this side of this mountain. It was like literally like I've never felt like I was riding on a trail, and the wind was literally playing effect to like my line choice. And in the certain area that I was at, it was just like sketchy goat trail, like rock shale, like kind of like Colorado, but maybe even a little more extreme in some points. Like
was it like thin. Where Mike Rotes went off the side of the mountain?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it was foggy, and you could only see 20 feet in front of you, and you had side wind coming up the hill about ready to knock you over.
So you're saying we would not have come home with Mike Rotes?
Say that again?
We would not have come home with Mike Rotes.
No, he wouldn't like it. No, I take that back. He would love it, dude. He would love it.
We'll bring him. We'll make sure he's at the next adventure. So did it all work out though? Did you get to your little rendezvous and make sure that all the truck people met up with the moto people?
Well, not really, which was kind of a bummer. But we got to the spot and they weren't there. But it was so cold, so rainy, so windy. Like we were like, well, what are we gonna do? Like wait around and see if they show up. I'm like, well, I told them 2:00, and I was kind of pissed because I'm like, the best man. I'm the organizer.
Right.
I told them 2 hours, and we were there in 2 hours and like 20 minutes. So we were pretty close, for having like a group of like 8 riders or so to go 15 miles and meet at some spot. Pretty good guess, I thought. So I was kind of pissed that they weren't there, but I guess we only missed them by like a couple of minutes. But we were like, what are we going to do? Make a fire? Like, well, we don't have a view. We're on top of this mountain. Like, we're getting rained on. It's windy. I'm like, maybe we should go down the hill a little bit and try to find a spot. So we kind of went down and found a spot, and then was trying to like make a fire. And like, I was so cold. I was literally like had my bike on idle and just like holding the gas and just like putting my glove behind my muffler, letting water just like spew out, just like revving it and water spitting out of my glove, and like it's all steamy and I'd have to switch hands, and like I was so cold.
Okay, well, this
And
is
so I'm
what
just like-
scares me. Is you're much more of a man than I am. Not only when it comes to like being a man in life, but being a man on that 500. So I can only imagine like the situation that my little like cold-blooded body would have been into, because I probably would have been over there.
Oh, dude,
shivering,
you would have
like,
hated it.
Yeah, like
You would have hated it. And everyone else was like, I kind of gave everyone a hard time because I was like, dude, you're in Eastern Washington. Like, it's normally super hot. Like, it's kind of rainy, but it's always going to be like muggy and hot. So I'm like, I'm not wearing a jacket. And I like kind of talked to everybody else out of not wearing a jacket.
What a dick.
Like me and the groom were like, no, dude, you don't need a jacket. You're fine. Like, it's going to get hot once we get up top. But sure enough, that was not the case. And, you know, I wish I had a jacket or something. I didn't even wear like a t-shirt underneath my jersey just because I sweat too much and get hot. And so I was like, nah, I don't need it. But, yeah, I wish I had something because it was horrible. The only person that didn't get cold was my buddy Cody, because every time we stopped, he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna do like trial stuff on my 250." And like he just started playing on logs for like 20 minutes. And he's like, "I'm fine." I'm like, "No, we're all freezing. We're going back down the hill."
Oh my god.
But so we tried to do like a lot of roost marks and stuff. And one of my buddy grabbed a stick and wrote like Hanson party left. It's like to try to do something, but. You know, so we ended up just bagging it and went back down the trail, and then my buddy took my 500 up the road and found where they were at, and they were at this super awesome like man-made cabin for like elk hunting and deer hunting that someone made, and they had like a wood stove in there, and they had chairs, tables, they had like bunk beds with like extra blankets and stuff in there, and they're like playing cards, drinking beer, and we're like they came down and told me that. I was so pissed.
What did they do? Like, did they like get on
if we only
Airbnb
knew.
and like find this fucking thing on Airbnb? Like, how did they find this amazing cabin?
No, well, they were just like you know, it took us 2 hours and 20 minutes to get up there, like for a truck.
Right.
It wasn't really like a Jeep trail or anything. It was just like a dirt road. So it took them like probably like 30 minutes, 40 minutes max. So they were just like driving around, shooting clay pigeons and doing whatever. You know, they were having their own little fun while we were riding dirt bikes, which is fine. But then they found this cabin and they're like, well, we need to find them at the rendezvous point and then bring them to the cabin. So they had good intention, and it would have been awesome. But from the sounds of it, I'm like, yeah, we were there at like 2:20, and we left at like 2:30. Like, we bagged it, and they're like, dude, we left the cabin at 2:30. I'm like, dude, I seriously just had to have missed them by like a couple of minutes, which sucked. But it did really suck, because then we got back to camp and we're cold and we're hungry. Trailer's locked. All the beer, the keg's gone, the brats are gone, and the hamburgers are gone. And luckily, we ended up getting into the trailer, so at least we could change and whatnot. But you know,
Well,
like,
yeah,
well, what
I
do we
mean,
do? Like, we're starving. So
you made that
we just started
trailer.
drinking the hard liquor.
There
Yeah, we
you
just
go.
started drinking hard liquor and called it a day. They came down and made us brats and stuff. We're like, all right, let's have dinner.
So, did we get any good Admiral Nelson pose pictures?
Post pictures.
Like pose, like anybody doing the Admiral Nelson pose?
Oh no, not that I'm aware of.
I'm
we
kinda
did a lot of
I'm kinda
cake. We did a lot of cake stands though. I got a couple
Fantastic.
pictures of that.
Oh, you needed to have sent those to me so we could have put them on the show.
Oh, I should have. I sent you a couple, but not
Not the
not
kick
of not of actual
stands.
partying.
Not the kick. Yeah, you gotta. We got the one with the sheep on the motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that was a sheep. Was that a sheep?
Yeah, that was definitely a sheep, and it it was for exactly what you think it might be for.
It's a fluffy. It's a practice fluffy.
Yeah, you could say that.
It's for people who are like, I think I might be into fluffy, and I don't know, so I'm gonna practice with this fluffy blow up thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sure, that sounds.
I was
legit.
actually surprised. I thought it was just like a sheep wearing fishnets, and then someone started blowing it up. I'm like, oh, that's like a real thing that you can buy, I guess. That's super weird, but
You're like,
super awesome.
Why did
We're
they
at a
put that
bachelor
hole there? Oh.
party. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but it was fun in the morning. I made my buddy put that on and do a wheelie, and we took his picture and stuff of him wheeling with the sheep on his bike. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, I can't wait to go back and look at your Instagram. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's on the Instagram.
Okay,
But he
so
had a blast though. That was half the fun because like think of your best buddy like you always go riding with, you always do like all this epic shit, plan big trips and stuff, and like me and him are like we're a right hand man, always plan like all this stuff, and we're just like tell our friends we're doing this, we're doing it then, bring this, do that, whatever. So when it comes to his bachelor party, I'm trying to like keep it a little secretive, and like I just got all this good stuff planned. Like my buddy took Friday off work to smoke brisket and pork at his house, and then he waited for his other two buddies to get off work, and then they drove over with like all this smoked meat. Then we just heated it up on the barbecue, and it was divine. It was so good.
that does sound
It was
pretty damn
crazy.
epic.
Like all this cool stuff, like extra to like just the awesome riding we're gonna do. Couldn't tell him. Like I was just like antsy the whole like week leading up,
right.
and he was super pumped. I told him to bring his dirt bike gear, camping gear, and like $20 in ones, and that was it. He had no idea.
He's like, the ones are for the lot lizards on the drive out.
Yeah, he's like, what is $20 in ones for? I'm like, just bring it.
Because we got to pay for the good times. I have to ask,
Yeah,
though,
exactly.
now that
Exactly.
we've had some time, we're a couple months back from riding in Colorado, and we had a chance to get the first shorter version of the Seat Time Adventures video out. Like, what do you think? Like, now that you've had a chance to show it to your friends and other people that you ride with and buddies and stuff like that, like, excuse me, like, what's the thought process been for everybody else?
Everyone's pumped because I kind of like when I first watched it, I was like super excited, so I just watched it and didn't read like what you said in the email. Like, you know, it's obviously like kind of an introduction to like what the actual ride is, and not like it's not the main thing, right? Like that's
Right.
what I got from it.
Right, yeah, there's going to
Yeah.
be a much longer, like more, we
Yeah,
knew that
that's
like,
what
we
I-
didn't want to spend 6 months working on it, so we wanted to get something out that could be
Right.
a little bit more over-encompassing about what Seat Time Adventures is, and obviously all that footage is from this year, and then we will do a much more in-depth, more documentary-style version of this year's ride as well.
Yeah, so that's what I came to find out after my excitement was like through the roof, and like that video was like perfect. It like really brings in what we're trying to do with that ride. Just like good time, you know, awesome, hardcore, you know, it just drains your body riding. You know, like that's what we're trying to do.
Yep.
And then just kind of like, you know, a little introduction of what that is. And then, you know, like you were saying, like coming back to camp, we want to drink beer. We want to talk about all our like awesome crashes and all our awesome successes, like, you know, like doing whatever, you know, like getting up a certain hill or getting up a certain section, like everyone would stop and be super pumped for everybody else. And, you know, just like the stoke level was high for everybody, and like showing that off to like people that, you know, maybe even just saw last year's video. It's like obviously a lot different. I think at least my friends and family are like super excited to see the long version. I am too. Like I'm pumped.
I am too, Steven.
Yeah, like I think that was a really good idea.
I think Steven's excited too.
Steven's
Steven's
psyched.
like, man, once I start working on it, it's going to be awesome. So I heard you were going to
Yeah,
be
like
in a
that little
magazine.
introduction was awesome. And then one of my buddies like, who's that guy at the end of the video? I'm like, oh, that's damn Daniel, dude. Like he had to have been like 8 beers in when he did that little interview.
He may have had some Mike. He may have had some Mike Rotes help as well. Who knows? Like at that point, like
Yeah, like at that point, everyone's
Colorado
like, all
High.
right, we'll throw Daniel in.
Oh man, no, it was like I don't remember what it was, but Steven and I talked about that a couple times, and it was originally that section of Daniel talking was more in the middle of the video with some of the other people, and I was like, that is the best way to end this video. Like that has to be like the blooper exit kind of thing, and it really does encapsulate just everything in the way that guy talks about everything that's going on. Like,
perfect.
you know, he's the non-moto guy just talking about like his quick little stuff about it. So it was it was a great way that it wrapped up.
No, that
with
was hilarious because I remember him talking. I was like, dude, I was sitting there so still trying to get this awesome shot, and Buck just eating me alive. I'm like, Daniel, you're my hero, dude. You're doing all this hard work, making us chumps look super good. Like, I appreciate that. Thanks, buddy. And if hey Daniel, you're watching, still appreciate it.
Still a thumbs up, bro. So I heard you're going to be in a magazine.
It's obviously super good, except the cold.
Yeah, I think so Seat Time's going to have a magazine. Is that what I hear?
Yeah, dude. I don't know how that happened. My girlfriend works at a dermatology office, and like someone came in that she went to high school with or something, was like, "Oh, I saw your boyfriend do this like dirt bike thing. Like, I was at the dentist getting my teeth cleaned last week. I'm pretty sure I saw him in a magazine." And she put some jokey thing on like Facebook like after that video came out, and then my mom saw it, and my mom like has no idea. She's like, "Oh, if there's a Seat Time magazine, will you get me a Seat Time magazine? Because I want one if you're in it." I'm like, "Mom, I'm not in a magazine." Like it's just some like random like weird thing, and then I texted you about it or whatever.
I was like, man, I would love to have a magazine. I don't think it's going to happen.
My mom would be super pumped.
Yeah, as long as we got Brady Davis on the cover every issue, we got one subscriber.
Yeah. Hold on, bro.
I love it. Well, dude, so give us a
Sorry
little bit.
about that.
No, you're good. What else is coming up for the Brady Davis?
For me, I might be doing a 24-hour race on the 500.
Oh.
Me and three other buddies. So that might be exciting.
What? And then when's the date of the Desert 100 for next year? A roundabout.
Roundabout. Just in case if Mike and Kenda's listening, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like, hey, Mike Tosh.
It's, usually, well, I'm not sure because it used to be the second weekend in April because Supercross, or no, how did that work? Supercross was the second weekend in April in Seattle, and then the Desert 100 was the first weekend. Last year, I think it was on the first, like 2 years in a row. It was like April Fools on the Desert 100, but I hear they're bringing Supercross back this year because we haven't had it for the last 2 years in Seattle. They got rid of it because the venue was super expensive, from what I heard, and the pits were terrible, dude, awful. But so I'm not sure. It's either the first or second weekend in April is the Desert 100,
All right.
and I'm obviously going to that. Me and you are partners, hopefully.
We can fingers crossed. Do we have to ride the 500?
You'll have to ride the 500, yeah.
Will the horn still be on it? Beep, 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 beep.
What's that?
Will the horn still be on it?
Absolutely. Oh, you have to have the horn on the race, dude. There's so many Joe Schmoes. They're just like, you got to get out of my way, dude.
I'll let you start, though, because that looks like something you could do way better than me. So.
No, absolutely not. You've never been there. I'm telling you. No, I'm telling you right now, like, it's a little intimidating, but it's something, if you're going to go there maybe 1 time, 2 times, whatever, you have to do the start. It is unlike anything else I've ever seen or witnessed. It is like hands down the biggest adrenaline rush I've ever got in my life. It's like a football. I mean, they just like line you up. I mean, how many people were in the first wave or second wave last year? Like over 1,000 each wave. They do like the Ironman class first, which is the highest class. So they have like almost 1,000 people signing up in a single file row, and they light off this giant cannon. And once you see or hear the cannon, you just take off running about 50 feet to your bike. You jump on your bike and you ride through like a mile of desert in between like a 20-foot section where tires are stacked and there's 2 American flags. Same thing with the second wave. It's like all one-lappers, like the women's class, the team class, the old-timer class, the vintage class, but all of that adds up, or like 15 and under class, like a lot of kids in there. So when you get, like when you choose start, you're like just balls of the wall to the end, and then you're kind of like open for a little bit, and then you start catching up to the other people that are doing the Ironman, and it's not necessarily like a race for them. It's more survival. And I'm saying that like open-heartedly because I've been there. I've done that race just to survive it when I was younger. I did 15 under class the first time, and I told myself, I am never, ever doing 2 laps. That's not even fun. 100 miles is terrible. And then I finally got a new bike, I'm like, okay, I got to do it. And then I got a new bike. I'm like, I got to do it again. I'm like, I took a year off. I'm like, well, kind of miss it. It's kind of fun. You come in the pits, you just hate your life. Your hands are just destroyed. Blisters. Your body is just wrecked. I'm not doing it. But the start, just like that initial little bit of it, you got to do it.
Okay.
You're going to start. and I'm just gonna pick people off on the second lap, just like last year.
All right, I'll
That's
try.
the-
I'll
that's the
try
plan.
not to get us too far back in the pecking order, so that way you don't have too much work to do when it
No,
comes
dude.
to.
As long as you're out there with the grin, honking the horn at people, having a good time, that's what it's all about.
Holy shit! I just got a
I
text
don't think-
message from Jason Parsons, and he's watching right now, and he's like, "The Desert 100 is nuts. You got to do it." He said that him and Cole from Fast Company are doing it next year, so we have to do it because they're going to be there doing it too.
Are they're from Fast Company?
Yeah,
Because
they're from,
my
Washington,
flex bars
Utah.
are a little bent. My flex bars are a little bent. I've
Wait.
had them for like 4 years, and they're a little bent. Just throwing
from
that out
being
there.
awesome on your motorcycle or from other stuff.
Oh, just from being wicked awesome.
There it is. Okay, well let's be honest. It's not like
I think it
because
I
they're
think it actually
amazing
happened in
bars,
Colorado.
but whenever you do crazy ass Brady Davis shit, it can get weird.
What's that?
So whenever you do crazy Brady Davis stuff, it could get weird.
Yeah, I mean it gets weird every now and then, but I think I actually bent him in Colorado when I crashed.
One of the 12 times.
Whoa, 1 of 1, my friend, 1 of 1.
Yeah, that was probably me. 1 of 12. We'll go with that. Yes,
Yeah, but
Jason
they
Parsons.
know,
If it works out, we'll see you
they'll
there.
probably text you again and say you have. If you've never done it, you have to do the start. It's something you got to experience.
Yeah, well, I'm
It's just
I'm
incredible.
already afraid, but I'll do it. I'll do it for you, Mr. Brady Davis.
I'd be afraid because it's terrifying.
Perfect.
It is a little terrifying.
Well, some of the stuff we've got coming up, of course, is Endurocross this weekend. Picks back up round 4 in Arizona. It's going to be neat. Taylor Robert is going to be there. He's back in town now. The world and the Enduro GPs are over. Look forward to him being there. Alta, also the electric motorcycle company that has probably what most people are considering the first real electric dirt bike. The dirt bike that could potentially compete against other 250cc four-strokes in that division will be raced by Kurt Nickel. So that's going to be cool to see. So if you guys are in the area, definitely go check that out. Brady Davis, any thoughts on this electric motorcycle and what it could potentially mean as we move forward into the market that will eventually open up?
I've seen like is it Josh Hill? Not Justin Hill. Josh Hill ride that thing on like Instagram, and I've seen like other things on Instagram of people just ripping it up. And I think it's really cool. Like I like all motorcycles, all shapes and sizes, all years, old or new, whatever. I'm an enthusiast, obviously. So I think it's pretty sweet. And I actually, like when I first saw that someone was going to be racing Endurocross, I'm like, that is like the perfect race for that bike. Because Supercross or motocross, like that's kind of long. Like I'm not sure about battery life and and like stuff like that. But
Right.
Endurocross, kind of just like an all-out sprint, which I feel like that battery could hold up, and it's apparently super torquey from what I've read and what I've seen.
Right.
I'm actually kind of excited to see how it does.
Yeah, Kurt Nichols is an
'Cause it's like the
awesome
A-
racer. Like the dude's been on road bikes, he's been on dirt bikes, he's been on all kinds of shit. Won the vet Endurocross multiple times. So yeah, dude, you got something on your nose. It is awesome. It's underneath.
I think it's cool.
It's underneath.
I'm into it.
There, underneath. Underneath.
No, my girlfriend was saying I got something on my face.
Yeah, you do. Like all of a sudden, you just like went to
Or-
pick a booger and like wipe some
That or I'm
weird. Like,
yelling too loud. I got headphones in, so who knows, man? Who knows?
it's perfect. It's the way we like it.
Yeah,
Are you finding a
But-
mirror?
I think I'm all right. I think I'm good.
That's better now. Better now, for sure.
Is that better?
Better now.
Trying to start this barbecue. I got to cook some chicken for dinner.
All right, well, you get to the barbecue, cook dinner for the family, and we will finish up the show here. But we obviously appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. Congratulations on being a kick-ass bachelor hoster of the parties. $20
Hey,
and a
thanks,
couple
man. I
ones.
appreciate that.
Yeah, so
I appreciate that.
I'm already married, so I don't have an opportunity for you to throw me a bachelor party. But I think at some point in time we'll have to find some kind of excuse to get together outside of riding motorcycles and just find a way to cause trouble.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It was cool because everyone was actually pretty psyched of like all like the hard work I did. But like I didn't feel like I did a lot. I just basically told people what to do and they delivered, which made it super easy. But one guy is actually engaged right now and he has his best man in that same group. And he's like, I think I might just ask you to like plan this same thing. And then maybe you can just invite my best man, Jake. I'm like, oh, Jake Webb right there? Yeah, I'll do that.
The guy that I'm standing next to that you tell me
Yeah,
the
like
story,
he's
like
sitting
thanks.
like right next to me. And Jake's like, yeah, thanks, Mark.
Yeah, suck it. Come on, man.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Oh well. Well, you could always start a business because we were actually. So we had a bachelor party that we went to, and we had the party posse put on the back of our little bachelor party shirts, and people kept asking
Nice.
us like, "What's up with the party posse?" And we're like, "Oh, we're like a group of friends that you can hire to like hang out with." You know, so say you got like lame friends and you don't want to like invite them to your thing, you can like hire us. And people were like, "You do that for a living?" We're like, "Yes!" Like totally fucking
Yes.
with them. And they like totally bought it. It was like the best shit ever. So we should do that. We should be the party posse.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm all in. I like planning parties. I like being at parties. Super fun.
Forgetting to wear clothes. You know, it's whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, but before you
Bring
burn
a sheet.
yourself, get out of here and
All right,
cook
man.
a good dinner.
All right. Yeah, I'll send you a picture.
Dig it. All right, man. You take it easy. Thanks again for coming on the show.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having me. I'm always super pumped.
It's always a good
awesome.
time with the
Awesome
fun man
opportunity.
Brady Davis.
Yeah, we'll see you soon, buddy. We'll
Bye.
talk more about the Desert 100.
Oh, God.
Start YouTubing. Peace.
Later. Awesome. So the what Brady's talking about with the Desert 100 is we want to see if there's a chance that we could find some support to help get me out to the Desert 100. He's got the bike. He's got all the connections out there. And then that way him and I could do the two-man team to race the Desert 100. We obviously think it will be a ton of fun and figure that kind of stuff out. So that's where that came about. So Jason Parsons, if you can talk to people that you know to make that happen, let us know. One of the things that Steven wanted me to remind you guys about, because I forgot to at the beginning, the Muddy Microphone podcast that we were on is out, so you can go check that out. Muddy Microphone. Go search for it on YouTube, on iTunes, not YouTube, and you'll be able to find all that kinds of stuff out there. We had a great time talking with those dudes. We really talked about a lot of other crazy stuff. So if you want to know more about Steven and myself and why we're so interested, not just in dirt bikes and off-road, but a lot of the technology behind why we do seat time the way that we do it, definitely go tune in, because we do go down some of those interesting technology rabbit holes and some of the things that do perk Steven and I's interest besides big boobs, dirt bikes, and being, dirty and muddy. So it's interesting, if nothing less. We had a ton of fun doing it, and if anybody else wants us to come on another podcast, you just let us know. You can also listen to DMXS, and I was on one of the DMXS episodes about 2 weeks ago. Again, tons of fun doing that, and I really appreciate those guys taking the time to have us on to be able to talk about our brand a little bit and just kind of what we're doing and how we're doing things a little bit differently. Of course, thank you very much to Fly Racing. You want to make sure you go to flyracing.com. Check out, they have their 2017 gear lineup out there. Go to the local dealer. If you don't go to your local dealer, or it feels like, you're somebody that wants to shop online, we do have an affiliate link that will be in the description or in the notes that you can use to go shop on Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Again, that's nothing that costs you any extra money. It's just something that gives us a little bit of a kickback if you use that link to go purchase something. It's kind of the same thing with the Amazon link we have. If you shop on Amazon, go to seattime.co, click the Amazon banner, go to Amazon, buy whatever you buy, and it's just a small percentage of that kickback comes to us because of the fact that you went through Seat Time. So it's a good way to help us if you like what we do and want us to be able to kind of keep moving forward and keep kind of bringing this out there. Of course, Kenda Tire. We were the Ibex Tire. If you guys haven't had a chance to try that out, make sure you do. Equilibrium is great. Didn't get a chance to talk to Brady about that, but he was running the Equilibrium on his 500 while he was running around the Pacific Northwest at this bachelor party this past weekend. So they work on big bikes too. A lot of people think that they're just kind of, for two strokes or for, maybe 350s and 250s. It's like, no, he was running that thing on his 500 EXC all weekend in the Pacific Northwest, having a great time, getting tons of traction. So KendaTire.com, go check them out. And SRT Offroad, of course, you can find those guys at SRT Offroad. If you need any protection for your bike, aftermarket parts, any of that kind of stuff, you can go find it there. We were talking with Steward Baylor Jr., the dude's on the SRT Offroad team. His bike's completely dialed and all that stuff. And even though he mentally may have checked out when it came to the end of the TKO Enduro, his bike made it the whole way. And so, that just goes to show not just the bike itself, but all the protection and all the parts that are on that machine, which are a lot of SRT off-road parts. So please go check those guys out. Again, you can find us on Stitcher and iTunes. If you want to get audio only, you can subscribe there. It's a great way to do it. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Check us out. Have fun out there. And just remember, always enjoy a pint full of awesome. We'll be live again next week to be able to talk about GNCC that's coming up, be able to talk about Enduro Cross and all the fun stuff that's coming up. I've already talked to the Alta guys. Got an email back during the show because of the fact that I already want to have them on to start talking about some of the research R&D that they've done to get ready for endurocross. I think what they're doing, you can tell what Brady was saying, like watching on Instagram, the bike looks great. Like it's doing what it needs to do, right? But so now they need to start testing it in the real world, which is what they're going to start doing with Kurt Nickel. And so I'm going to talk to them next Tuesday. Hopefully we'll have them on the show to start talking about what they think. Like, did it go the way that you thought it was going to go? It didn't? Okay. How did it go wrong? How did it go right? Where are we going to make some changes? And then a little bit of backstory, too, of how they got to where they are. I think it's going to be really interesting. I know we're going to talk with Ty Tremaine a little bit next week, too. I've been a little disappointed in the Endurocross coverage that we've been able to get throughout the past 3 rounds. And so he's somebody that I've had as a sounding board, and we've talked about some couple things. So him and I are going to go through our thoughts and opinions on that next weekend. So I think next week is going to be a good show to tune into if you're looking for a lot more honesty and opinions. So yeah, it'll be a good time. Remember, always enjoy a pint full of awesome, and we'll see you next week. Peace.